Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this week's episode of your Manifesting Bestie podcast. I'm your host, Flora, and we are diving into all things mindset and manifestation like we always do. You guys know how this works. I'm so glad you guys loved last week's episode with the rich girl laws that we went over. And we're going to expand a bit on it, not through rich girl laws, but through the realm of unlimited possibilities that you guys can be tapping into on a day-to-day basis. No matter what your goals are, no matter what the end looks like for you, no matter what the big manifestations are, the big visions that you have on your mind. A lot of us fear our big goals, fear our big manifestations. And I'm going to explain why we have so much fear around the things that we actually want, which is crazy. It's almost like that one thing we want we're unconsciously afraid of, even though we shouldn't be. The fear is not really valid, but it just kind of lingers subconsciously, and we're going to figure out a way to slay it. Slay the fear, tap into our unlimited potential today, because I know there's so much on your heart that you want to accomplish, that you want to attend to, that you want to receive, that you want to open yourself up to like a sponge and absorb it. And we want to dig into that today. I notice a pattern in myself and in others is we live in this state of predictability. And by the way, guys, if you hear rain just pouring in the background, I'm here in South Florida. Every day we get a hurricane. It is what it is. Get into the mood of the rainy season with me, because I really don't know what else to do about the weather right now. So if you hear it, just, let the rain set the mood. But back to what I was saying, I want to talk about the realm of unlimited opportunities. This is what we call the quantum field, tapping into the unknown, the unpredictable outcomes. You guys remember when we were in middle school and in high school, and they were teaching us how to do charts, graphs. These were bar graphs, line graphs. You remember all the graphs we were always drawing in math class, in science, and a bunch of different topics that we had to talk about. They were always having us draw graphs. And the common denominator of all of these graphs was the X and Y axis that the outcome stood on. So the bar graph and the line graph were both standing on this X and Y axis, where the two lines from the side and the bottom meet to determine where we draw our lines and our graphs and everything. I want you to think of that axis, that graph, as the quantum field, where we have this realm of unlimited opportunities. Now, we can land anywhere on this graph to draw a point so that we can connect our lines and then create data for whatever it is that we are collecting data on, right? So when we are going towards our dreams, this could be so different for everybody. These could be financial goals. These could be relational goals. These could be health goals, okay? When we experience something that's negative, our memory, the way that our brain is set up, is that we mark that graph on that XY axis of possibilities, right? So it's like time and then the outcome. For whatever we just experienced, anything that is negative, we remember it. It's kind of like for my content creators, let's say you post a video and it gets 50 supportive comments, but then there's that one person who's trolling you in the comment section under that video, making fun of you, telling you your ideas are silly, you're not good enough, you're unworthy, you're ugly, whatever rude thing they say. Even though you have 50 supportive comments on that video, all day that one rude comment just sits there in your psyche. It sits in the front of your mind, bothering you. It trolls at you. Doesn't matter that all those people were there supporting you. We remember the negative. This is how our brain is set up, and this is why we fear our own success. Because we're looking at this graph of possibilities, of endless opportunities, endless outcomes in the quantum field that can happen on this XY axis. And when we mark that graph, we normally mark it with things that have gone wrong in our life. For example, for me, it's like I tried losing weight 10 times and I always failed. Or for somebody, it could be they tried 5 different business models and they always failed. Or this person, tried having a healthy relationship and they always got cheated on. But the reason that these things, quote unquote, always happen is because it happened once and the brain, the mind, the psyche couldn't let go of that negative loop. So it marked that point on our graph and focused on it. So that became our point of attraction on this axis, on this graph, on this realm of endless possibilities. That one failure, that one thing that didn't exactly go our way, it wasn't the right outcome, it wasn't what we had hoped for, maybe something bad happened when we were younger, that became our point of attraction on this chart of endless possibilities, of endless opportunities, of infinite outcomes. Because in the quantum realm, there are infinite realities happening in the present tense. And what we experience physically here in the 3D world is pretty much a replica of our current point of attraction. And here's the catch. When that one negative thing happens to us, it overrides all the positive, all the good in our life, all the accomplishments, all the compliments, all the love, all the acceptance, all the growth, all the passion that we have accumulated in our entire lifespan is because our brain, our psyche is just focused in on that one negative experience, which then becomes our point of attraction because we cannot let it go. We make it our whole identity. Okay, that person dumped me. That becomes my whole identity. I got cheated on. That becomes my whole identity. I couldn't lose weight the first couple of times. It becomes my whole identity. I've been broke my whole life and it becomes my whole identity. But that cycle, that pattern that we kind of absorb as our identity, it really just came from one outcome of endless possibilities on this chart in the quantum field. And why is this so important? It's because we get so fixated on what went wrong that we refuse to change our point of attraction in the quantum field, and we are stuck on a loop, a habitual pattern, the same predictable outcome. And when we read these books, right, I love reading. I love reading Joe Dispenza's work. I love reading Abraham Hicks. I love reading Dr. Joseph Murphy. I just love reading and getting immersed in these books of psychology, mindset, manifestation, personal development, goal setting, success, money, all these things, right? But when I read these books, they all say the same thing. In order for there to be a different outcome, we can't think from the same predictable pattern because the predictable pattern just creates a predictable outcome again. So if my point of attraction for that thing I really want is always stuck on that one failure that I had maybe when I was in middle school, maybe in high school, or maybe, a couple years ago, this one thing went wrong and I made it my whole identity, my psyche couldn't let go of that loop, that negative event. It became my new point of attraction and it overrides all the good that I have accomplished in my life. It overrides all the positive because the brain can't let go of the loop, okay? It's an open loop in our mind of what went wrong. Why didn't I succeed? Why did I get rejected? Why didn't I get the thing that I actually wanted? So it's like an open loop that circulates in our brain and we cannot get past it. And some people cannot get past that loop their whole life. So in this chart, in this XY axis of endless possibilities that we can mark our points on, our outcomes, our success, our wins, our losses, we're stuck on that one point of failure. But on this chart, we see in front of us that there's all this space, all this room for better outcomes, better possibilities, new opportunities for growth and new opportunities for expansion, right? Better income, better relationships, better health, better appearance, higher self-confidence, more wins, better friendships, better family, everything. There's all this space for things to be better. But here is the common denominator of why we cannot mark a different part on this graph, on this chart. It's because we are operating from the same predictable bias. We're operating from this stance because that one thing went wrong, it is probably going to go wrong again, right? So that's how we think. This is normal. This is how our brains are set up because our brains are set, our five senses are here to collect data on things that have happened to keep us safe. Because back in the day, when we lived in the woods and we needed to fend for our survival, we weren't living in high rises and we weren't driving nice cars. We were out living in the woods. Our senses were present to give us feedback, a loop of remembrance of things to protect us. Like, hey, this thing that happened to you, this challenged your safety. So we're going to make sure you always remember that negative memory so that you never put yourself in that unsafe position again. And then your subconscious mind molds itself around that event to keep you safe. Okay, so we want success, But then when we went after it that one time and we failed, or what we perceived as failure, it might have not even been a big deal. It might have not even been an actual failure. It just wasn't something that you wanted at that time. It didn't go the way that you had hoped for or planned. Now your nervous system, now your subconscious mind is on high alert. And all it feeds you is the negative loop of what went wrong that one time. And we operate through that same bias. We operate through that same structure. So the next time you get into a relationship, or the next time you launch a business, or the next time you try to create your content, or the next time, or the next time, or the next time you go and you try to get in shape, all your brain does is it reminds you of that constant negative feedback to keep you safe so that you don't try again. Because it's all about self-preservation. That's what the mind is there for. It's to preserve the human that it's inside of, okay? So your brain is trying to keep you safe, because it still thinks that you're living out in the woods and maybe you're gonna get chased by lions, bears, and another tribe of people who wanna hunt you down. I don't know. But the truth is, we are safe. There is safety, right? We are protected. We are able to try again, because there are infinite outcomes, endless opportunities that could occur if the individual on that graph just changes a simple thing about his or her self. Okay, so we are the common denominator on this graph, and if we keep operating from that same predictable bias of what went wrong that one time, we can't really get ahead. And you know what really trips me up is a lot of people didn't even have the failure, but they've seen other people fail at something. Maybe you saw your parents fail at marriage. Maybe you witnessed someone fail as a parent. Maybe you witnessed somebody fail at real estate. Maybe you witnessed somebody fail in the school system because they were a teacher and then they didn't get paid and then they lost their home. You've seen other people fail and you picked it up in your subconscious as, this is not safe for me to try, because I watched that person fail, or because that person warned me and said, hey, this is not an easy route. You shouldn't be a business owner. You shouldn't open this project up. You shouldn't do this for yourself, okay? Because it's not safe. Because I failed at it, you're probably gonna fail at it too. So you're running on this confirmation bias in the reticular activating system in your mind, and you're looking for feedback for that same failure, because that is your point of attraction on this map of endless and infinite possibilities. Now, the quantum field doesn't really care what you want. It's just gonna keep giving you more and more of your current point of attraction around each topic that you choose to focus on. So when I was younger and I had like these weight issues, my weight would go up and then my weight would go down, and my weight would go up and my weight would go down. I was just like a very typical yo-yo dieter. That was me. That was me in a nutshell. It was my identity. I was so familiar with it. I was always looking for feedback of why my diet isn't gonna work, and why this workout plan isn't gonna work, and why it's too hard. I was looking for feedback of why I'm going to fail before I even failed. Does that sound familiar? Because if you're running on that loop, then you're destroying your relationships, you're destroying your body, you're destroying your mental health, you're destroying your business, you're destroying your income, your career opportunities, blah, 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 everything. It's a trickle down effect. But when we can look at this chart on this X, Y axis, all we need to do to get a different result, a better outcome, is to make a slight change. Very small change. Wake up in a better mood. That changes everything for the whole day. Not check my phone the second I open my eyes. That changes the trajectory of your entire day. Do a 10-minute visualization or a meditation before I start my day. You just change the entire trajectory of your typical outcome. Be non-reactive to people that I don't want to be around. That just changed the entire trajectory of your day. Go for a brisk walk outside or a run outside in the morning to get my energy up, regulate my nervous system, get some sunlight. I just changed the entire trajectory of my day. So in order to break our loop, break the same pattern that we've been running on over and over and over, we have to make small little action step changes in our day when we are going for the same goal. Let's say you're like me, you started multiple businesses, but you have experienced failure. You've experienced money loss, right? You're not seeing the income that you want to be seeing. And you're like, hey, I've gone at this business thing multiple times and I'm showing up and I'm posting my content and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. If you just change these small little incremental decisions throughout your day, everything has a ripple effect that will change the way that the world responds to you too. So instead of premeditating my failure of saying like, this isn't gonna work because it didn't work this one time or multiple times on this same pattern, because my point of attraction has always been that one failure that I experienced, and all I can focus on is the thought of that one failure because it didn't work out. So even though I'm trying again, even though I'm showing up again, I'm still thinking from the state of what if it doesn't work out again? My outcome is very likely going to be the same predictable outcome because I still have not stepped into the unknown. I still haven't changed the trajectory of my thought patterns. I haven't changed my emotional state. I'm still kind of operating on the same basis that led to my first failure. But when we have the courage to change small things about our day, maybe it's in our routine, maybe it's the way that we show up energetically, maybe it's the way that we take care of ourselves, maybe it's the way that we pour into others. It could be so many changes that we can make. One small change from our predictable routine will transform every aspect of our day and the outcome that we are seeking. And I had this happen to one of our members in the membership. She is a business owner. She runs an online business for hormone balancing for women. And I love that she brought this up inside of the community because we had a conversation of how her business has not been taken off. She's tried and tried and tried, and she kept doing the same exact predictable steps that you kind of hear everywhere on the internet. She's like, I was posting 2 reels a day. I was showing up in my stories. I was posting 2 reels a day. I had my call to action. I did all the things. And I was like, okay. So I'm like, is that not working for you? Like nothing is working. She's like, no, like it's not really moving the needle. I'm like, okay, so do something completely different. And she was like, what have you done that you saw an exponential growth on? I'm like, I've done so many different things to pivot and change parts of my business that felt stagnant. I'm like, why don't you forget the script that you have been taught and go off the script? Go off of that XY graph that you keep having the same point of attraction on and operating from the same patterns on, the same thoughts, the same emotions, the same action steps, and just do something different. I'm like, why don't you get on a live stream? She's like, well, I don't feel confident enough to do that. I'm like, why? What is lacking? And she's like, well, I don't know what people are going to ask me. I'm like, exactly. This is where infinite possibilities live, in the unknown, the unpredictable. And if you're brave enough to step into the unknown and do things differently, where you yourself, your mind cannot predict the future, you cannot see the outcome because it's different from your normal routine, you will have a completely different outcome, and then you will change your point of attraction on that graph. If you're telling me it's not working for you, you have to be the part on that chart that changes so that you can land on a different point of attraction on this graph, right? That way your success is not just like stalling and slow and heavy and dense, but it's shooting up quickly because you're doing something different. You're going off the rails. You're doing something that is not predictable on your journey. So she grew a pair of balls and she went on her live stream and she got 4 clients on per live stream. And I was like, do you know why that happened? Because it was the unknown. You were a little bit excited. You were a little bit anxious. You were lit on fire. The way you were speaking, it's completely different from what you're used to putting out there. And you were magnetic. You stepped into the unknown. You weren't predicting the same loss. Because the same routine you've been following, you are familiar with the same loss. You're like, this isn't working for me, but I'm still doing it. Stop doing it if it's not working for you. Try something different. Do something different in your routine. And then she came raving about the fact that she went on a live stream for 30 minutes and got 4 clients. And I'm like, exactly. You went off the rails. You were like, forget it. Forget everything that I have been told. Forget the same mundane routine. I just need to do something different. And when you are different, your point of attraction becomes different. You're doing different action steps. But you are the only individual who can test out what works and what doesn't. But if we always show up in the same routines, the same emotions, the same thought patterns, we are then predicting the same outcome because we're coming to it from the stance of, well, this hasn't worked for me all month, but let me do it again. But let me try again. Let's do something a little bit different. You'll notice this happens to people too who are heavily into fitness. They'll be on a fitness routine and they're like, this hasn't worked for me. I hit a plateau for months. Nothing is changing. So they themselves change one variable. Either they start tapping into nervous system regulation, or they start reducing their cortisol levels, or they start going from high impact workouts to low impact workouts. And boom, they see a sudden shift in their body that they were not able to predict had they kept doing the same thing. So what this shows us is on this chart of infinite possibilities, of infinite outcomes, there's the x-axis and the y-axis. One of them is going to represent the time it takes to achieve something, and the other variable on that chart is going to be the things that you do, your action steps, the way that you show up, the energy that you hold. That is what you are in control of. So if that chart is not moving fast enough, it means things are too dense, too heavy, too predictable. So you're moving in this energetic state of, I already know what's going to happen for me. I already know this didn't work. I already know, but sure, I'll try again. I already know I don't want to do, I already know it didn't work for me the first couple of times. It's because that's our point of attraction. In order to break free from our point of attraction on this chart and really step into the unknown, we have to break the habit of being who we are. And this can be such a small thing. I notice that I feel my best and like when my day gets so much better when I take my walks in the morning, when I get things done in the morning, when I wake up a little bit earlier in the morning, okay? So I have to change who I am in my routine so that I can have a new outcome if things feel stagnant, if things feel so stuck. It just means the energy is too heavy, too dense, and too predictable that my mind cannot even come up with a new assumption. My mind is not even seeking for feedback of a new outcome. It's seeking the same feedback of the loop that she has been running on. And you guys know what this feels like. It feels like shit. It feels like ass. It feels awful because you're like, I'm taking action. I'm doing the thing. And it's getting me nowhere. I'm stuck. I feel like I'm getting choked up. And then boom, what happens? I'm burnt out. I lose motivation. I don't want to show up. I don't want to do this. And we see it in all different areas. It could be career, it could be business, it could be relationships, it could be health, so many things. If I'm always predicting the same lousy outcome and I can't break the loop of it, I have to change me. This is all about really like radical responsibility, right? Taking radical responsibility for ourselves, for who we are, for our actions, for our thoughts, our emotions, how regulated we feel. And just being like, okay, you know what? I'm calling my freaking power back. I'm in charge, no one else. And I realize I'm in charge because I'm the one making the predictions. I'm the one that's choosing to say, I've already done this 10 times and it didn't work. I'm the one saying that. No one's saying it to me. I'm in charge here. So I'm predicting my own outcomes. I got to break the loop somehow. I have to break this feedback loop of me always looking for the negative outcome because I'm so used to it. I'm so used to my failures because of that one loss I experienced, and that's all my brain can remember on this damn chart of infinite possibilities out in the quantum field. And that's annoying. It's annoying. Why am I not remembering all the things I was good at? All the classes I passed with flying colors, the promotions I got at work, the congratulations I received, the love that I experienced, the great friendships I had. Why don't I replay those things in my brain? Why are we always on the negative feedback loop? It's just how we're wired for safety, really. And we can be mad about it, or we can understand that our mind and our body is just trying to protect us. That's all. Because we're used to living in the woods and we don't live in the freaking woods anymore. We're here to expand beyond living in the woods. So we don't need to feel like we're always under attack. So we can let go of that negative feedback loop that we've been stuck on, consistently predicting our own downfall. So if you can create this chart, even like draw it on a piece of paper, right? The X, Y axis on a chart. And I want you to put a new point on this chart. Determine where it falls and what that outcome looks like and what identity is running that outcome. Because she is completely different from your current point of attraction on that chart. So let's say you want to attract better opportunities, more love, more friendships, more money, more this, more that, more self-confidence, right? We have to put a brand new mark on that chart and then identify where our focus needs to go. Because as we know, the brain is operating through the reticular activating system. So it's looking for feedback. That's what our mind does. That's what the masculine logical mind in the frontal lobe here is doing. She's looking for feedback, for data, to prove our assumptions correct all day long. So if I wanted to seek out better feedback, that I'm a winner, that I'm a champion, that I'm loved, that I'm amazing, that I'm worthy, I have to feed it that assumption, that expectation. So how are we going to flood our minds to ensure we're changing our own point of attraction and breaking these loops? The first thing we went over was creating new action steps, right? Doing something different to shake up the pattern so we can break the loop in our mind and start predicting a new outcome. And number two, we want to be flooding. Okay, flooding. Think of a flood. Think of drenching something. Think of of when you jump in a pool with your clothes on. Your clothes are drenched and heavy. It's flooded. Okay, I want you to drench your mind. Flood your subconscious mind with the outcome you actually want. So you can break the loop. Break the negative feedback loop that it's been stuck on. From that one nasty event that broke your heart, that pissed you off, that tore you apart, okay? Break that pattern and start flooding your mind with the new outcome. And there's so many ways you can do this. You can do visualizations. You can journal about it. Every morning, write out your expectations, your pleasant expectations for the day or for the month or for the year. And tell me how it went. What is that amazing year? How did it look? What did you accomplish? If you get into this habit of training your mind, flooding it, drenching it with the actual outcome you want to accomplish, not the one that it's been running on, that one sucks. We don't like her. She can go, okay? We can get rid of her. We hate the negative feedback loop. It just makes us feel so bored and stuck and unworthy. And like nothing's gonna change. That like it is what it is type of attitude. And I hate that. I hate when I hear people say it is what it is. No, it's not. It is what you make it. It is what you expect it to be. That's what it is. Okay, so we want to drench and flood the subconscious with the outcome that we actually want. So we can create a brand new loop, a new habit loop. And then our actions start to change too. We show up different. We have a new energy. Okay, so do the visualizations. Do them in the morning, do them at nighttime. I don't care. I have them in my membership. I have them in all my offers because they work. You want to visualize you already having it. Flood your brain. And then flood your brain with other people having it so that you can see your reticular activating system is like, oh yeah, this is possible. Everyone else has it too. They have it. They have it. They're accomplished. Oh, it's possible. Endless possibilities, right? Infinite outcomes can happen. So if we want the feedback loop to change, so we can change our point of attraction on that grid, on that bar graph, on that line graph, whatever, that axis, we have to be the change. Because our point of attraction is our point of attraction. We can hate it, we can complain about it, we can throw tomatoes at it. It's still there. It's still there. And it's going to keep giving us exactly what we expect it to give us. So we have to make the transformation happen. We have to flood the brain. We have to break the loop with new action steps. We have to think of it from a different perspective. Like, okay, yeah, I did feel that one time, but I've also won at these 10 other things. Why don't I list out what those 10 things are and remind myself I'm a fucking winner? Why don't I look at all the people who have won in this specific field or in this area of life and be like, oh, if they could do it, I can do it. That's my confirmation. Their success is my confirmation for myself. We have to find the ways and get creative to break the loops. We can't just identify with the feeling of being stuck because nothing will change and nothing. You can't get yourself to change from that standpoint. Okay, so we have to transform the mind and the action. That way the subconscious mind, which is the software, and the nervous system, which is the hardware in the body, the software and the hardware are recalibrated, reconstructed, and then a new identity is formed inside of you. You start to feel different. You start to look different. I've seen people undergo nervous system regulation changes. They look different. They are glowing. They're slimming down. Their skin is clearing. Everything just looks calm. They're not puffy in the face anymore. Everything is looking snatched, beautiful. Everything changes when we can change the software and the hardware, the mind and the body. And we create coherence with what we actually desire, matching the expectation we hold in our mind. Because if I always expect myself to fail because I had that one failure, that becomes my dominant point of attraction. I can't have that. And I can't have you have that. I need you to change it. Okay, so we are going to, once again, take inventory. This is our homework. We take inventory of our life and say, where has my point of attraction always been stuck on the same outcome that I cannot get it to change, no matter how hard I run at that goal? Is it relationships? Is it my career? Is it starting up a successful business? Is it my body, my health? Is it my self-confidence? Is it trying to implement a new routine? What is it? Where am I stuck? And where is that negative feedback loop always keeping me on the same habitual patterns? Even though I understand how the quantum field works, I understand that there are infinite outcomes. I understand this is an infinite universe and it is rigged in my favor. It's set up for me to succeed. I understand these concepts, but nothing can change what I receive until I change. Okay? So I am the common denominator on this chart. I am the common denominator in all outcomes. I am the common denominator of my life, of every loss, of every win. So we can let go of the fear of the outcome when we feed the mind a brand new expectation to look forward to. We can call this segment intending. We can call this intention setting. We can call this having a pleasant expectation. Either way, it's just manifesting a new outcome by changing the core of who we are, changing self-identity work, identity transformation work, self-concept work. It's all the same thing. It is the core of creation. It is who you choose to be through the dominant assumptions that you choose to hold. Remember, no one's making us hold these assumptions of who we are, that we're failures, that we're going to lose, that we're not good enough. No one's making us think that. It's a choice. We get to choose our thoughts, believe it or not, right? We get to choose what we focus on. We get to choose our expectations. We don't have to be stuck on the same loop. Quantum physics is amazing. When we realize that all we need to do to achieve a real quantum leap is change the energetics within the body, everything becomes easier. When that atom is charged with more energy, it pops, it jumps into a new point on that graph. So you are the one that's going to get that new energetic charge and quantum leap into a brand new outcome, a more pleasant one with all the goodness that you have been wanting and craving. It's going to contain all those desires that you have been working so hard for. But nothing changes if nothing changes. So you must become the change that you wish to experience. You must be the one to break the loop and just do something different. Go off the rails. Try something different. Break the pattern. Go to a different coffee shop. Wake up a little bit earlier and have a different routine in the morning. Go to a new gym. Just small changes. Small changes. Try a different content style for your brand. Small changes can have a massive ripple effect of the outcome that you want. So if you ever feel like you're getting stuck and you're getting stuck on a manifestation, you're getting stuck on a desire, you're getting stuck on a journey where the outcome is just not really coming, it's not happening, I want you to shift into the alter ego, the identity of already having, and say, how would she operate this situation? What routine would she be doing? How would she be pivoting? What is the energetic standpoint? What is the state of consciousness that she is embodying? And how can I shift into her? How can I be a little bit more like her today? Because she's already in you. The answers are already in you. The knowledge, the wisdom, it's infinite and it's streaming and downloading inside of you because you are literally attached to the ether, to infinite intelligence. Those little ideas you get throughout the day, they're not random. Write those things down, execute them. Those are the changes that you want to be making, okay? You guys got this. You are loaded with answers already. You already know what these things are that you need to change. It's just having the courage to do it. It's just taking a stance and taking radical responsibility and be like, okay, I'm going to be different today. I'm going to do things a little bit different today. I'm going to just be a different person today. I'm just choosing a new identity today. I'm going to speak different today. I'm going to show up with a different energy today. It's a choice that we have. And the cool part is we can choose from infinite realities, infinite avatars by making these small changes in our own identity. Because the truth is your higher self already knows the outcome. Your higher self already sees it from a bird's eye view and knows that you are going to accomplish all the things on your heart's desire because Your future self is already living out that experience. So she's calling you into that reality. That's why you want these things so badly. They already exist. They're already happening. That's the confirmation. We need to know this. We need to like sink our teeth into this truth and bite off into it and memorize it. It's already happening. I can already have it. The answers are inside of me. I need to tap in and just make the little pivots that I am capable of making, that I'm in charge of making. I have the ability to change my perspective on anything in the drop of a dime. I am the creator of my reality, so affirm these things every day. It's already a done deal. You guys got this. Like, I know the feeling of being stuck is just another false belief. There's no truth behind being stuck. It's just a perception. So go make that chart, create a new point of attraction, write out what that point of attraction is and how it's different from your current one and what version of you is embodying that reality. And you're going to start incrementally showing up in these new behaviors, these new action steps, these new thought patterns that future version of yourself already possesses. And you will be light years ahead of where you currently are in the next couple of months. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of your Manifesting Bestie podcast. And we will be back again next Wednesday with a brand new episode.